Grab LED battery lights, bamboo skewers, and ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Pull out 3 bamboo skewers from the pack and cut off the tips. Glue the 3 skewers together for more support and complete this process until you have 12. Connect 4 of the attached skewers into a square shape and then attach with glue and tape at the corners. Attach skewers to each of the corners and secure with glue and tape. Add some yarn around the corners to help support the structure. Then wrap yarn around the box. Make a bow out of the rest of the ribbon and adhere it to the top. The last step is to insert some battery-operated LED light. That's it. I hope this inspires you to create your own large light-up present decor for the holidays.
I have a flower pot that has no hole in the bottom, so that's perfect for mixing my plaster of Paris right in it. When you're ready to put your dowel or your PVC down into it, nice and creamy like so. So here is my big urn that I painted green, and here is my PVC in the flower pot, and it just so happens that this fits really tightly right down in there. And what I'm going to do is just take the corner and cut a piece off of the corner. That's just how I wanted it to sit. So I want to go to one of the sides that I have not taped, and I'm going to go a little bit off center. And then I think for my last one, I will go back to the one on an angle like I had my first one. So that one's really easy. You can see that I have my Topsy-turvy packages all ready to wrap. Here's one of our corners that we're going to need to cut out. So I'm just going to take and fold it and tape it right inside there. So we have all of our packages stacked up. Aren't they fun? And now I have tied some really big bows for our really big packages. So I'm going to go ahead and take some ribbon and wrap it around another piece of that tape. Here are our Topsy-turvy Christmas gifts. Aren't they cute? And you've made such an impact for not a lot of money. I mean, and I think my guests will be bowled over by this as they arrive.
We're going to head down to Dollar Tree and grab some wreath frames. We're going to need 6 of them. First thing you're going to do is put 2 sides together. And the secret is we're going to use zip ties. We got to get these corners put together. Put them up on the sides right there and on the bottom. You're going to pull that tight. We want to make sure it fits really nice. Cut that excess off. It's going to be much easier now because you're starting to form your box. Once you get the box done, we got to put the top on and the bottom. The way this is done, just put it on, but the zip tie goes a little bit different. You can just wrap it up and around and form it together just like that. Make sure again you pull it tight and cut the excess off. Now let's grab some easy liner. The big key to this, it's got to be transparent. You got to be able to see through it. Once you lay it out, just wrap it around the box, and this is going to take care of the 4 sides. Once you put it all the way over the top and down the side, that is going to allow us to know where we need to put that first cut. And you're going to cut right between the dots that are on the easy liner. Once you get that done, we're going to use hot glue. Now, don't worry that it's hot glue. It forms and holds that together really nice. It actually kind of melts the plastic a little bit like you're welding it. Go ahead and go the rest of the way down. That way we're going to form all 4 of these sides. Now it's time to do the top. We want to use one of our frames to go ahead and size it and cut it out. And we're going to use those flaps to lay over. Again, grab the hot glue, put it down, and lay it down. Once you get it all put together, grab some ribbon, and we're going to tie a knot in it. You can use any color you want. I used red on this one, and it's time for the lights. Yep, we're going to make this thing glow. That's why I was talking about using it transparent. But we just don't want to throw those lights in there. We want to zip tie them around the side. Once we get it, let's take it outside, stack them together, and we're going to plug it in. Watch this. There's that glow, and look at this. I absolutely love it. It is waterproof because of the liner, and it glows right there in the front door. It's an amazing decor just to have at your front door and leave it out, and as it glows, you can see it from the street, and it also is there to greet anybody that comes up, knocks on your door. I hope this inspired you to build your own outdoor liner gift.
I grabbed a pallet for this super easy holiday decor. I removed some of the boards using a hammer, making sure to keep the boards intact. I hammered them back onto the front of the pallet so they were closer together. If you find a pallet with the boards close together, I'd recommend just grabbing that one. I used my battery chainsaw to trim the extra boards on the end, and I used painter tape to mark out a line about 1/3 of the way down the pallet, leaving one vertical board untaped. I mixed acrylic paint with water and painted between the lines. I added a bit too much water, so I ended up just adding the paint directly to my brush to make the color less transparent. While wet, I removed the tape, and once everything was dry, I used hot glue to apply a giant bow. I made a second one, and now I have 2 giant presents for my front porch decor this holiday season. What do you think? Is this a project you'd try? I hope it inspires you to get creative with palettes this holiday season.
Grab some tinsel garland and some square wire wreath forms from your favorite dollar store or craft store for this easy and festive Christmas project. Place 2 of the square wreath forms on their side to create an upright L shape. Then, using small zip ties, connect one side of each frame to the other. Use 2 zip ties to create a solid connection for stability. Add that 4th wreath form with the zip ties so all 4 wire frames are connected to form a 3D square. Now that you've got 1 wreath form left, lay it on top to create a box. Cut off the ends of all the zip ties with some sharp scissors. And it's tinsel time. Take a tinsel garland and hot glue one end of the garland to a corner at the bottom of the wreath frame box. Carefully wind the garland around the bottom of the frame box and continue to wrap, working your way upwards. Periodically, use a little hot glue to anchor the garland to the box. A little goes a long way. You don't need to go crazy with the hot glue. When you come to the end of one garland, just start with another garland and continue the wrapping. Hot glue at the beginning of each garland to attach it to the frame. Next, take another garland and start to cover the top. Again, use hot glue to initially anchor the end of the garland to the edge of the top. Because you're covering the top of the box frame, you can just weave the garland in and out through the sides of the box frame. I ended up using just 2 garlands to cover the top of my box. Every wrapped present needs some ribbon and a bow, and this present needs a big bow. I broke it down into 3 steps. First, the side ribbon. Wrap a long length of wired ribbon around the box and twist underneath before bringing the tails up and over the sides of the box and knotting on top. Second, take another length of wired ribbon and slide through the previously knotted ribbon at the top of the present. Tie in a knot on top and curl the ribbon ends with your hand into a gentle wave for the tails of the bow. Last, make the actual big bow. Then attach the bow to the top of the box by connecting with the florist wire. And there you have it. This project looks great displayed under a Christmas tree or even on a dining table or kitchen island as a spectacular centerpiece.
Ready to make some weatherproof and adorable Christmas porch decor? If you've never seen transparent corrugated board, you'll love what you can do with it. You'll want to grab 8 sheets of the 20 by 30 inch pieces at your local Michael's. If you don't find it there, you can order it on their site online. I started by cutting 10 inches off of the length of the board, which left me with a 20 by 20 piece. With the remaining 10-inch long piece, I scored it in the middle and folded it in half. I continued cutting the boards until I had 5 pieces that were 20 by 20, 5 that were 15 by 15, and 5 that were 10 by 10. Next, I took 4 of the 10 by 10 pieces and put them together in the shape of a square using packing tape. I then used the 5th piece as a top, creating a nice little box with no bottom to it. After that, I used red duct tape to further sturdy the box and make it look like ribbon on a Christmas present. The next step was to follow the same process in making the larger boxes. I would tape the sides together, making sure the square was sturdy, and then add the top. The difference in the larger boxes is that before adding the top, I created a hole in the center of it. You'll see why soon. I also decorated these with the red duct tape, making them look like wrapped gifts. Next, I took some duct tape and cut it into strips that were approximately 20 inches, 18 inches, or 16 inches. I folded these strips over on themselves so that the duct tape shows on both sides. Then I twisted them into a ribbon shape and taped them into place that way. After that, I took 6 of the longest twists and placed them together in sort of a star shape and stapled them together. Now it was time for the fun part, adding some lighting. Heading outside, I plugged the lights in and placed my largest box on top. Here's where the hole comes in handy, because it allowed me to pull the string of lights through the hole and into the second box, and from there up into the third box on top. Once that third box was on top, I could just place my big bow on there to finish it off. I ended up with these adorable lit-up stack of Christmas presents that looked even better when it was nighttime, and the light shone through the transparent corrugated board beautifully. They looked great, and the size of the boxes were fantastic at the front door.
This really cool Christmas project starts at my hardware store with a 1x12 piece of board. I'm going to measure it out at 11¼ inches. Using my square, I'm going to mark a line all the way down one side and all the way down the other. I'm going to take it over to the miter saw and I'm going to cut it, but it doesn't cut all the way through. So I need to turn it around, put it right on the line, and make a nice straight cut. I'm going to get a perfect squared board. I need to cut a multiple of these, and I'm also going to have to cut some that are 1.5 inches less because I need to put the boards on the inside. I'm building a box. First thing, we're going to lay some glue down, put 2 of the sides together, and use some brad nails to hold it together while the glue dries. Once that L shape is formed, I'm going to do the same and build that box. Once it's built, I need to set it on some plywood because I got to put a top on. Marking it out, I'm going to use my jigsaw to go ahead and cut down the lines and get that perfect square. I'm going to glue up the top again and then put the top back on and nail it down. That glue is going to dry and make it a solid box. Once I do that, I'm going to make 3 different sizes, different shapes, but I'm going to paint it green. The reason is I need a background color. Don't need to use any primer or anything like that. Just put this color on and make it look really good. I'm going to do all the sides and the top. Let it dry for a little bit and then get the hot glue gun out. I'm going to go ahead and put a glue across the top and lay some of that greenery on top. It only takes about 10 to 15 seconds to hold it down. And I'm just going to keep going around the edges. Start at the bottom and put that down, making sure that you don't burn yourself with that hot glue. As you can see, I'm going to lay down hot glue and work my way up the box. I'm going to do that to all 3 and cover the top. Once I get all of that done, I'm going to get some of these string lights out. They're battery operated, so they're really good. Glue the control on the inside, glue up the string, and then go around the box using hot glue just to tack it down in place. I'm going to circle all of these boxes. Once I do that, it's time to get out some ribbon. On this ribbon though, I'm going to staple it to the bottom. 2 staples should do enough to hold it in place. And then I can take it and start wrapping it around the box. Not too tight, but just tight enough so where it doesn't come loose. Once I go all the way around, I'm going to go back again to the bottom on one side and put 2 staples in. Then with the extra, I can cut it off. Now I'm going to make a bow and put some hot glue right in the middle of that first ribbon. Putting the bow down, holding it in place for about 20 seconds, and then again, turning it on its side, and I'm going to staple these down on both sides. That means the ribbon's going to cover all 4 sides. Once it's done, we're going to put all 3 boxes in place, and they look great. Turning the lights on, the glow is spectacular, and these are great for the outdoors. But watch this, when the sun goes down and the lights turn off, wow, look at that. It just glows as people come up to the front door. Thank you for watching Home Talk, and we'll catch you next time.